Okay, so picture this. It's early December, and India's entire aviation system just hits a wall. I mean, chaos erupts at the country's busiest airports. And why? Because its largest airline, IndiGo, grounds a massive part of its fleet, leaving hundreds of thousands of passengers completely stranded, and you can bet, really angry.
Now, the official story, it pointed to a simple planning mistake. But let me tell you, that was just the final straw. It's what broke a system that was already stretched to its absolute limit. So the real question we've got to ask is, how did one airline's error manage to bring an entire nation's air travel to a screeching halt? The scale of this was just staggering. In the first few days of this crisis, IndiGo canceled over 1,000 flights. Yeah, you heard that right. This wasn't some minor disruption. This was a full-blown operational collapse, and it sent shockwaves clear across the country. And behind that huge number were just countless stories of frustration. You have people like Rajesh Kumar, stuck at Chandigarh Airport, who felt totally abandoned. His words, they really capture the human cost. This wasn't just about a delayed trip. It was about a total breakdown in service and support. So let's dig into that. What did this crisis actually look like on the ground? Well, the scenes that played out across India's airports were, frankly, unprecedented. It was a domino effect that just rippled across the country. This was not an isolated incident. In Delhi, on a single day, all 235 of the airline's flights were canceled. In Bangalore, nearly 300 flights, poof, wiped off the board. From Ahmedabad to Chandigarh, it was the same story. Protests started breaking out, and to make it all worse, the airline's CEO comes out and says it could take another 10 days to fix. 10 days? Okay, so in the middle of this national meltdown, IndiGo and the government regulators offered up an official reason, and it all came down to a brand new set of safety rules, rules designed to protect pilots. They're called FDTL, which stands for Flight Duty Time Limitations. Basically, they're new safety regulations that strictly control how long pilots can work and, just as importantly, how much rest they need to get. The goal here is simple, and it's vital. Fight pilot fatigue and keep flying safe for everyone. And this brings us to the official cause of the meltdown. IndiGo actually admitted it themselves. They said they completely botched the rollout of these new rules, confessing to misjudgment and planning gaps. So essentially, they failed to schedule their crews correctly. And on the surface, that seems pretty straightforward, right? Just a massive management failure. But that FDTL issue, it doesn't even begin to tell the whole story. Yes, it was the trigger, for sure. But it wasn't the real reason the airline was so incredibly fragile in the first place. And this is the key question. The airlines had months to get ready for these new rules. Other carriers, they managed the transition just fine. So why did IndiGo's whole operation just shatter into 1,000 pieces? Well, the answer lies in a problem that was hiding in plain sight long before a single flight was canceled. And here it is. This is the hidden vulnerability. Before any of the scheduling chaos even started, around 70 of IndiGo's planes were already out of service, grounded because of ongoing engine problems. The airline was basically operating with one hand tied behind its back, with a severely depleted fleet. That meant they had absolutely zero buffer, no margin for error. So when that planning mistake hit, the whole house of cards came down. So to really get this, we have to look closer at those grounded planes. And we need to talk about their engines, the Pratt & Whitney Geared Turbofan, or GTF. And this thing, it was supposed to be a total revolution in aviation. The tech behind it is pretty fascinating. You see, in a normal engine, everything spins on one shaft, but the GTF puts a gearbox between that giant fan at the front and the turbine in the core. This lets the fan spin slower, making it quieter, and the core spin faster, making it way more efficient. It was a genuinely game-changing idea. And the promises were huge. We're talking 16% less fuel burn, 75% less noise. But for airlines like IndiGo, the reality has been a total nightmare. Instead of efficiency, they got in-flight shutdowns. Instead of lower costs, they got recurrent groundings and just chronic reliability problems that have dogged this engine since day one. And listen, this wasn't just one bad batch. The engine has shown a consistent pattern of failures, year after year. From startup issues back in 2016 to critical seal flaws in 2018, and then the biggest blow of all in 2023, a massive recall because of a fundamental defect in the metal used to make critical parts. As one aviation maintenance pro put it, the problem cuts right to the very heart of the engine itself. An impurity in the powdered metal that's used for these super important high-pressure turbine discs could lead to cracking and, in a worst-case scenario, a catastrophic engine failure in the middle of a flight. So yeah, not a minor flaw. This was a core manufacturing defect.
And the time it takes to fix this, it's just mind-boggling. Each and every affected engine needs 250 to 300 days to be taken off the plane, sent for inspection, and repaired. With thousands of these engines impacted all over the world, you can start to see why dozens of IndiGo's planes were already just sitting on the tarmac, waiting. But here's the thing. The IndiGo meltdown wasn't just about one airline or one faulty engine. It's really a symptom of much deeper cracks that are forming across the entire global aviation industry right now. The whole system is under immense strain. See, post-pandemic demand for travel has just roared back, but the industry's ability to keep up, it's been seriously compromised by a perfect storm of challenges. You've got major supply chain problems, shortages of skilled labor, and constant production delays from the big aircraft manufacturers. And on top of all that, costs for everything are soaring. So what does all this mean? It means the system has lost its ability to absorb any shocks. There are no spare parts, no extra planes, no surplus staff. The whole thing is running on a razor's edge. So when you put all these pieces together, the picture becomes crystal clear. That scheduling problem was just the spark. The real fuel for this fire was a fleet that was already crippled by chronic engine failures, trying to operate within a global aviation system that had absolutely no resilience left to give. It was a fragile system, and it got pushed way past its breaking point. And that leaves us with a pretty critical question, doesn't it? The GTF engine, those lean supply chains, the just-in-time operations, it's all part of this massive push for ultimate efficiency. But the IndiGo crisis shows us the potential cost of that push. In this relentless race for efficiency, you have to wonder, is the entire aviation industry now flying a little too close to the sun?